Assalamu alaikum and welcome to this week's episode of Bruffy's Rugby Wrap-Up. We'll be looking at what happened in the West Asia Premiership, Div 1 and Div 2, as well as a new segment about things that are awesome and things that are a bit rough. All right, stay tuned. Let's get started. All right, welcome to the show. There was two big West Asia Premiership games this week. Bahrain hosted the Sharks in Bahrain there for their double header. Bahrain were a dominant force, back to their bustling best, breaking tackles, getting around the park really easily. They won that game 62-5. Just strong performances throughout. Probably one thing that let them down was a bit of their kicking. I don't think they converted any of their tries until the fifth one. They went into the half with about 34-0 and then took it out to 62. Big dominant game win for them. They get the bonus point. They get just over the half-century mark. So 62 points is nothing to spit at. So good effort from them. Sharks back on the struggle street. Their only highlight was big Imosi running about 75 meters off the back of a scrum, breaking about 6 tackles on his way to scoring a try down the other end. So the big old boy still got it, still causing Bahrain a few nightmares. But it was a solid effort from Bahrain and a huge win. The second game that we had in the West Asia Premiership was the Dragons and the Harlequins. Now, it was Dragons hosting the Quins at the Sevens Stadium. The commentary was absolutely amazing there, I hear. That was a bit of fun for me, working with Grant there, so that was a good night. But the Dragons seemed to want it more, and apart from a few times where they switched off, they were really good. Their ball running was immense. They were making huge gains. Big James McFarlane, I think he's starting to settle in at fullback there. He was making meters every time he touched the ball, as well as Sammy Yawa getting over that gain line success. Quins were just moving backwards the whole day. Dragons with the ball looked very good. The Quins barely touched it in the first half. They did score an early try and kept themselves in it at times, but a few errant passes, a few missed opportunities also meant that they just couldn't kick the ball for long enough in that first half and are really chasing the game in the second half. The second half was really good and really tight. The Quins came out hard, scoring a couple of tries there. The Dragons started to bum clenching time, as they say. As the Quins got close, it was in 5 points there. And then we saw a kick go across the field, just regathered by the Dragons, and their big skipper managed to make huge meters off that. Brad James was really good there. Massive performance, stole that ball, and then Dragons scored to blow out the lead a little bit. So it looked a bit better for them than it was. So they won 39-27. Very convincing from the Dragons, and they will test the Hurricanes next week. The Quins need to really look hard at themselves and just work out what they want to do and what they want to achieve with these boys, because they keep putting up really good performances for parts of games, but just not getting the job done. So they need to pull in a full 80-minute performance. It is great for the league. You can see probably the top 5 teams are all capable of beating each other. Nobody wants to play. It's going to be a tight finals time, but the Quins need to work hard if they're going to try and get that 4th spot. Dragons have got it at the moment. They play Hurricanes next, so they'll be looking to cement that. So, well done to the Dragons. A deserved win. Their game line success again was amazing. So really well done to them. And a big shout out to Johnny Harries. Did a little post-game interview with me, but he also got 2 meat pies and a try assist. So well done to him. Skip, as I said, Brad James was immense. And as well as a few of their other boys just making meters. Shout out to old Nigel Thornbury as well. That nose was just splitting gaps and he was doing well. So well done, James. And enjoy the win, boys. So congratulations. In Div 1, we had some much closer results. On the Friday night, Hurricanes took care of Barrel House 19-11. Canes scored all their 19 points in the first half with some good defense in the second half. Barrel House just couldn't get the job done in the end. I think they scored 10 points, but didn't really make use of the man advantage. I think they had a three-man advantage at one stage with two yellows and a red to the Canes. But some big players in for the Canes that helped. I saw Big Dean, Eckelbrecht, and Marcus Guerin all playing down, all from the bench last week. So helping their boys get the job done there. So congratulations to the Canes twos and their Div 1 comp. Bahrain twos also hosted the Quins in Bahrain. It was the Quins twos first time traveling. So that's pretty cool for some of the Div 1 boys to get to travel as well. Bahrain took it out 16-11. Quins missing a couple of players couldn't get visas or visa problems, so they missed a couple of players in the end and traveled with 19. But Bahrain getting the job done there. Didn't see too much of the game, low scoring. Big Barry Dwyer scored a nice try for the Quins, and Bahrain got a double for the day, which I'm sure their sponsors would be very happy about, and a big club win. The other games were the Tigers smacked up Dragons 2, so that's Tigers 1s versus Dragons 2s. They won 44-5. Quite an easy win in the end. A lot of tries scored from the Tigers. Dragons barely hanging on, getting the one try, so they're lucky their first grade boys got a win there. And the other game was a nail biter with the Exiles and Alain. Exiles scoring towards the end there, and they pipped Alain at the post. It was 29-26. But the Exiles had a few boys playing down as well. I know the UAE 10, Snetler was playing 10 for the twos. A couple of other guys dropped down. Gary Andrews, but probably where he belongs after this season. He in the Exile centers there. But no, they did well. And yeah, so that's the wrap up of Div 1. In Div 2, we had one close-ish game. The Quins hosted Alain at Zayed Sport City there. And the Quins 3s got up over Alain 2s, 24-11. And the other two games in Div 2 were absolute pumpings. UAE Shaheen 71 to Tigers 2s 17. So that was a monster scoreline. So the Shaheen keep trucking along. They're undefeated and looking very good. And then Sharjah managed to score 81 points. So they averaged a point a minute for the entire game over the Dragons 22. So massive win for Sharjah there, 81 points. You've got to be happy with those scores. They were a bit demo. They led in 22. A few tries to the Dragons at the end there. But it looked like every time someone touched the ball, they were going to score. So it was an interesting game. But that is a wrap for those games.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh no, that's pretty rough. Come on.
Yeah, welcome to the new segment. We're going to go through some things that I think are pretty awesome, and a few things that are pretty rough and need a good looking at. So we'll start with the awesome things. Big Johnny Harris for the Dragons got a double after coming back from the UK. So he got 2 meat pies and a try assist, so he was very good. And we've got to look at Sharjah scoring 80 points. That is an unbelievable effort, a point a minute for the whole game. Shaheen, another huge win. And Bahrain getting 60 points as well. So big scores there. So those are a few of the really good things from the weekend. A few things that are a bit rough. Bahrain's discipline for their first grade team, another yellow. So that takes them up to 8 yellow cards in their last 3 games. It's just not good enough. And if they do want to continue to dominate this league, they need to keep guys on the field. Sharks, after getting a win against Doha a couple of weeks ago, fallen back off the pace and then let in another huge score. They just did not look like they wanted to be there. And I mean, traveling is tough, and it's the first time a lot of those players. However, letting in another 60 points does nothing for their confidence. The Quins, Harlequins 1s again. they've as we said, 3 weeks in a row. They've been in games and they're just not sealing them. They're just not taking their moments. They really need to fix that. So that's pretty rough, or pretty B rough. And then in the Div One, the red card and the winner of this week's, that's disgustingly rough. Is then Kane's number 17 playing in Div One. He got a red card. It was a half red card with a high tackle, but a red nonetheless. So he needs to work on that for next week.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh no, that's pretty rough. Come on.
All right, so that is the wrap for what has happened this week. We're going to look ahead into next week and what is coming up. We have the finals, the women's sevens coming up. The Hurricanes are going to host that, so it'll be at Seven Stadium. Harlequins have been 5 from 5, so they are trying to take it all the way this season. But I'm sure Dubai Phoenix and the Hurricanes women's, who've both been in finals all year, will be trying to stop that happening. In West Asia Premiership, we've got 3 big games. We've got the Canes hosting the Dragons. That will be a hotly contested affair. Look, the way the Dragons played last night, if they can keep that momentum, I think the Hurricanes will have a tough time stopping them. So I'm going to say Dragons win that by about 5. We've got Sharks hosting Exiles and Al Habtoor. I think the Sharks will be very lucky not to have another cricket score put on them. I'm going to say the Exiles by 4, 5, maybe even more tries. They're just too big, and the Sharks don't know how to deal with that, or haven't seemed to yet. I think they'll really struggle, especially after what Bahrain did to them. And the last game is Doha hosting the Quins. It'll be an interesting game because it is a double header, so it's worth double points because fixtures couldn't be met earlier in the season. So Doha are hosting the Quins, and it is worth double points. So Doha won't play in Abu Dhabi later. So the Quins desperately need the win. Doha also looking to get off the bottom of the ladder. So it'll be a pretty tight game. And my tip is, as we do know, I am a Quinn. I'm a bit biased, but I think the Quins will win that by 2 or 3 tries in the end. So I think the Quins will take it. Be interesting to see with their travelling team and whether they've got their hearts and their minds in the game. All right, and Div 1, Quins 2s are hosting Barrelhouse 1s at Zide Sports City on Friday night. Tigers are hosting Exiles. And Alain Amblers have a double header with their Div 1 side playing the Dragons and their Div 2 side also playing the Dragons. So a big Saturday in Alain for them. I think it's the first time in a while they've had both teams playing the same club. So well done to the Dragons for making that happen as well. So good luck. Div 2 games, we've got Canes also hosting Tigers. Sharjah is hosting the Harlequins, so that'll be an interesting game set up. The Quins have all 3 teams out again, so they'll be looking to Sharjah will be looking to take the points while they can, and then the Sharks have a rough day with Shaheen coming up to play them. So Shaheen have been on fire, and their magic boys keep getting that job done. So it'll be a tough and interesting thing for them. All right. Well, that's the show today. Thanks for tuning in. I've enjoyed having you guys listen again. I hope the wrap-up's going pretty well for you guys. I've also enjoyed being on the commentary for the last couple of weeks on the RCC, and might possibly hear me again this following weekend. We'll see how it goes. Thank you guys. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll try and do might do a prize or a bit of a stash to be given out in the next couple of weeks. Thank you again, and that's all for today. Masalama.